It's recording.
Good afternoon. I hope you've had a great start to your week. I plan to continue recording these community updates every 2 weeks for the time being. If you have a question or concern between the two-week updates, please feel free to reach out to Erilyn or me. Phase 2.5 of ACT's reopening continues to be something I look forward to applying for. Unfortunately, we still do not meet the criteria needed for a community to enter Phase 2.5. I have been asked where we fall short in applying for 2.5 and want to share that it applies to the frequency of testing that we're required to follow at this time. There is a color system of green, yellow, red, and a community needs to be in the green category to apply for Phase 2.5. As of this taping, we remain in the yellow category. There are numerous factors the ACT's COVID-19 task force takes into account in determining which color each community falls into. During each recording, I will remind you of several items related to our current Phase 2. Off-campus trips. Independent living residents remain approved to have unlimited off-campus local trips. This is a direct reflection on your continued following of the protocols in place and how careful you have all been when venturing off campus. Please continue to stay safe at all times, wear your masks correctly, wash your hands frequently, and maintain social distancing whenever possible. If you will be traveling outside the local area, please reach out to Erilyn or me prior to making your trip so we can investigate if where you are traveling is considered a hotspot. Days away from campus. Any domestic trip off campus for more than 3 nights will require you to isolate until a negative COVID test result comes back upon your return. Please be sure to let the wellness office know anytime you plan to leave campus for an overnight stay. They will remind you of this guideline and set up a rapid testing session when you return so your isolation will be short, provided your result is negative. Face masks, face masks, face masks. Please remain diligent in wearing face masks when in the common areas and when you pull up to the guardhouse. Wearing them correctly is of utmost importance as well. They need to cover both your mouth and nose, not just one or the other. I continue to empower staff to politely ask residents, vendors, and other staff to wear their masks correctly if they are seen being worn incorrectly. Please be understanding of staff if they ask you to, and treat them with kindness and respect, just as I expect them to always treat you. Please point out to staff and your fellow residents when you see them not wearing their mask properly or in a common area when they should be wearing one. While sitting in the common areas of the community, please be sure to wear your face mask correctly while talking to others. Visitor policy. Residents in independent living can still have up to 3 immediate family members visit at one time between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. 7 days a week. This visitation must take place in your home and not in the common areas. You are allowed to walk outside with your family visitor as long as you stay away from other residents and staff. Front gate screening. Please continue to pay close attention to every screening question asked and answer them with complete honesty and transparency. These screening questions for both residents and team members are the first line of defense in keeping this disease off our campus. Please continue being patient and respectful. I do know there can be a wait time if the front gate is busy. Outside care providers. Those who provide medically necessary services are allowed to provide those services to you in your home only if they comply with all screening requirements and they show a copy of their negative weekly test result each time they come to the guardhouse. The outside care providers have been notified of this for weeks and months now. They are responsible for getting tested weekly and the costs associated with those tests. Any outside care provider who does not comply with this weekly test requirement will not be permitted on campus. Staffing updates. Concierge position. Our weekend and holiday concierge, Debbie Wilson, worked her last day on Sunday, September 20th. We have hired a replacement and she is in the onboarding process now. She is expected to start this coming weekend. Willowbrook Court Administrator. A new nursing home administrator has been hired and will be starting on October 19th. She will be coming to us from one of our Boca communities where she is now their nursing home administrator. We are blessed to have Erilyn able to orient her to our Willowbrook Court team and building. and are excited to have her coming on board. This will also allow Erilyn to spend more time in her new executive director role. Director of Security and Transportation, Jerry Seldis, our current director, will be leaving us at the end of this week. He has accepted a position he feels is a dream position for him at this time, and we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. I have interviewed several quality candidates thus far and expect to make an offer this week. Some department updates. Culinary. Please remember to return the green reusable to-go containers to the designated areas. Culinary is now running short and are hoping to have more returned before they need to reorder any. The new tables and chairs on the East Bistro patio can be used for eating at, but there will be no wait service provided and social distancing needs to be followed. Food taken to go needs to be eaten in your apartment, villa, or the East Bistro patio. No eating is allowed in common areas. If you receive the wrong items in your delivered food, please call Culinary so they can correct their mistake. Environmental services. Annual cleanings will not start up until we are in phase 3. If you need a 1-hour time slot, please reach out to Kitty or Tina. Fitness. Virtual Olympiacs will take place from October 5th through the 16th. Residents will be competing virtually through our Teams app with the other Southeast region communities. Active Aging Week will be celebrated October 4th through 10th. More details about both of these events will be shared in a letter on or before September 30th. Mail-in ballots. If you received a mail-in ballot, you can either mail it through the Postal Service or you can choose to vote at your precinct or early voting location. Flu vaccines. We should receive the flu vaccine soon and plan to begin flu shot administration within the next few weeks under the direction of our nurse practitioner, Lissy. Given our employees' potential for exposure and transmission, we began mandating flu shots for all Indian River State's employees last year. Our employee rate of compliance was nearly 100%. We strongly encourage all residents to receive the flu vaccine unless medically contraindicated. Feeding animals. Please do not feed wild animals on our property. They can become accustomed to being fed and lose their natural instincts. Recycling. No food items or any sort can go into the recycle bins. It has been reported that food has been found inside brown bags placed in the recycle bins. Continued infractions like this could lead us to being flagged by the county. No food items into the recycle bins. Oak Ridge Terrace and Willowbrook Court visitation. As mentioned in the weekly letter that went out recently, over the last several weeks we have all seen news regarding state and federal requirements for reopening phases for assisted living residents and skilled nursing facilities for in-person visitation. We have been following announcements from state officials and the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services and planning accordingly. While the announcements may seem to suggest that visitors are able to immediately come onto campus, the compliance guidelines are stringent and we must abide by the strictest requirements established. We are working through the requirements rapidly as we too look forward to welcoming family members into Oak Ridge Terrace and Willowbrook Court. At Indian River Estates, we must meet specific guidelines, including having no new facility onset resident or staff cases for 14 consecutive days, sufficient staff to support management of visitors, adequate PPE for staff and visitors, adequate cleaning and disinfecting supplies, adequate capacity at referral hospitals, and the ability to provide training on infection control and prevention for all visitors. It is also important to understand that we are required to reinstitute visitation restrictions should a resident, staff person, or family member that has visited test positive for COVID-19. As such, it is important that we all take our safety protocols seriously. Should we be required to reinstate visitation restrictions, we can expect a minimum 14-day period in which in-person visitation will be eliminated. Please know that we continue to support and provide opportunities for in-person compassionate care visits in compliance with all applicable regulations. Scam calls. Please be aware of threatening calls related to scammers claiming to be from the Social Security Administration and instructing you to call back immediately. This is a scam attempt. The IRS and Social Security Administration will never call you unless you have already communicated with them and asked for a callback. Thoughts from a concerned resident to fellow residents and Indian River Estates staff. These are the thoughts of a very high-risk independent living resident when venturing out of her apartment. Put yourself in my shoes as I see someone coming my direction, without a mask or hurriedly pulling their mask up or trying to cover their mouth and nose with their hand. I think, is this person possibly a COVID carrier, but asymptomatic? Did they cough or sneeze in the area where I'll be walking? Did their breathing or talking expose me to droplets in the air? Have they been in the elevator or stairwell? Should I start wearing goggles at Indian River Estates? Please think of others and how contagious you could be. You could test negative one day and be positive but asymptomatic the next day. I'm sure every one of us would rather see our story posted on Therese's bulletin board at West instead of prematurely on the obituary page. This is no joke. A couple of updates from the Resident Association boards. The East Resident Board update. Huge thanks to the many volunteers that are doing so much in our community. We've been enjoying welcoming new residents to the East Campus. Mary Beth Valler became our new librarian in April and has been doing a wonderful job. Graduates were recognized in a virtual grad night ceremony in May. Purchase of new patio furniture was approved with 79% resident in favor of in June. We joined West with a $250 contribution to Cleveland Clinic Hospital for their COVID fund. The audit of the East Association books was recently completed with satisfactory results. Of the approved purchase of a plaque honoring Nancy Anto to be placed in the library. We received and discussed the responses to the Wing Captain's survey of resident concerns. Results were forwarded to appropriate staff and committees. We approved the employee appreciation letters to be mailed to residents October 1st and November 1st. We participated in the 2021 budget review process with ACT's leadership, August 10th and 19th. Much was learned by the valuable information provided. We passed a motion making jackets optional at East on Sundays and on birthday nights year-round. Bistro patio furniture arrived September 14th and is great looking. From the West Board, until regularly monthly meetings of the West Resident Association can be held again, the association is operating in the following ways. Committees and the board are meeting on an as-needed basis. That is, if there is something to meet about, they will meet. Communications and updates are handled by email. As president, Jeff Merrick handles all resident inquiries, problems, or concerns as they arise in a timely manner. This has been working out well, and he encourages all residents to continue to contact him or any board member with their individual or collective concerns. The board realizes these are trying times for us all, especially ACT's management, which keeps the residents well informed of the ever-changing situations. The West Association will continue to operate as an association, as mentioned above, until the normal all-resident monthly meetings can resume. I will continue recording these updates every 2 weeks, so be on the lookout in your IRE TV guide for days and times the community updates will be shown moving forward. I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful rest of your week, and please be safe at all times. Thank you.